Have you ever popped last night's dinner into the microwave without giving it a second thought? It feels like a time saver. But what if that quick reheat was slowly working against your health? Today, we're diving into 5 everyday foods that doctors and nutritionists strongly advise against reheating. Why? Because under certain conditions, they can undergo subtle chemical changes that make them toxic. Not just uncomfortable, but potentially dangerous. You may be shocked to discover that many of these foods are the very ones we often call healthy. But once reheated, some can form compounds linked to serious conditions like cancer, digestive issues, and cognitive decline, including dementia. This isn't fear-mongering. It's science. And the more you know, the more power you have to protect your body and mind. Especially as we age, our systems become more sensitive to what we eat and how we prepare it. That's why understanding these hidden risks matters more than ever. So stay with me. By the end of this video, you won't just know which 5 foods to avoid reheating. You'll understand why, backed by real medical studies and expert insight. These small decisions in the kitchen, they can quietly shape your energy, memory, and well-being for years to come. Let's get into it. Number 1, reheating spinach releases harmful nitrates. Spinach might seem like the last thing you'd need to worry about. After all, it's a nutritional powerhouse. Rich in iron, fiber, and antioxidants, it's a favorite in omelets, stir-fries, and homemade soups. But when it comes to leftovers, this leafy green hides a darker side. What most people don't realize is that spinach contains a naturally high amount of nitrates. These nitrates are actually beneficial when consumed fresh. They help regulate blood pressure and improve circulation. But once spinach has been cooked, stored, and then reheated, especially at high heat or in the microwave, those helpful nitrates begin to break down. This breakdown leads to the formation of nitrites, which then convert into nitrosamines, compounds that scientists have flagged as potentially carcinogenic. In fact, multiple studies have linked nitrosamines to increased risk of gastrointestinal cancers and neurological decline. For older adults whose detoxification systems slow with age, these compounds pose an even greater risk. Imagine this. You prepare a hearty spinach soup on Sunday night. On Monday, you reheat a bowl in the microwave for lunch. Seems perfectly healthy. But what you've just consumed may no longer be the same nutrient-rich meal. Instead, you're introducing transformed compounds into your body. Compounds that over time may quietly contribute to cellular damage. The unsettling part? You won't see, smell, or taste these changes. The transformation is invisible, but real. And when repeated across weeks, months, or years, the damage adds up. Nitrosamines are well documented in medical literature as toxic agents linked not only to cancer, but to long-term neurological harm. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at neutralizing these toxins, making their effects more profound. That's why experts recommend avoiding reheating spinach altogether. If you plan to include it in a meal, cook only what you'll eat in one sitting, or eat the leftovers cold if safe to do so. It's a simple change, but one that could help reduce your long-term toxic exposure and support better brain and gut health. 2 areas that become increasingly fragile with age. The takeaway: spinach is still your friend, just don't give it a second round in the microwave. Number 2, reheated potatoes can quietly disrupt your health. Potatoes are a beloved staple in many homes. Hearty, comforting, and endlessly versatile. Whether mashed, roasted, baked, or turned into stews, they're often cooked in large batches and saved for later. But here's where many of us go wrong. Reheating leftover potatoes, especially in the microwave or at high heat, can quietly pose serious risks to your digestive and neurological health. At first, cooked potatoes are rich in soft, digestible starches, but when they cool, those starches reorganize into something called resistant starch, a form that's harder to digest. In moderation, resistant starch can even benefit gut health. However, the trouble begins when these cooled potatoes are reheated, particularly in ways that heat unevenly. This warm, moist, low-oxygen environment, especially if the potatoes were stored in aluminum foil, creates the perfect breeding ground for harmful bacteria such as Clostridium botulinum, the same bacteria responsible for botulism. These bacteria can go undetected, with no change in taste or smell. But once consumed, they can produce toxins that cause digestive distress, fatigue, and even neurological symptoms if exposure builds up over time. For older adults, this risk becomes more dangerous. The digestive system slows with age, and the immune response becomes less robust. Meanwhile, emerging medical research continues to highlight how gut health is intricately linked to brain function. Inflammation in the gut doesn't just lead to discomfort. It may accelerate cognitive decline and increase the risk of conditions like Alzheimer's. This doesn't mean you need to cut out potatoes altogether. It just means treating leftovers with care. If you're saving cooked potatoes, always store them in airtight containers, not foil, and refrigerate them promptly. When reheating, use a pan or oven where you can ensure even, thorough heat. Not the microwave. Never reheat them more than once, and if something feels off, texture, smell, or taste, don't hesitate to toss them. One meal is never worth the potential long-term consequences. The key takeaway here isn't fear. It's awareness. By understanding how something as innocent as a reheated potato can affect your gut and brain over time, you give yourself the chance to make smarter choices. For seniors trying to protect their digestion, energy, and mental clarity, this is a small, powerful shift that can quietly support long-term well-being. Number 3. Reheated eggs may release harmful compounds. Eggs are a breakfast staple, a go-to source of quick, reliable protein for millions. Whether scrambled, hard-boiled, or poached, they're praised for their simplicity, affordability, and nutritional value. But when it comes to reheating them, especially in the microwave or at high temperatures, this seemingly harmless habit can quietly backfire. When eggs are freshly cooked, their proteins undergo a natural transformation called denaturation. This process makes the proteins more digestible and bioavailable. But if you reheat them later, particularly using uneven or excessive heat, those same proteins shift again, often becoming dense, rubbery, and harder for your body to break down. More troubling is what happens on a chemical level. Reheating eggs can lead to the breakdown of sulfur compounds, which may explain that distinctive rotten egg smell and the formation of oxidized cholesterol. According to several medical studies, oxidized cholesterol is far more damaging than regular cholesterol, contributing to systemic inflammation, blood vessel damage, and over time, increased risk for heart disease and cognitive decline. Now imagine a common routine. You boil several eggs on Sunday to save time during the week. On Tuesday, you pop one in the microwave for a quick breakfast. While it tastes familiar, beneath the surface it's no longer the same food your body expects. The once beneficial fats may now contribute to plaque buildup in arteries. The dense, restructured proteins might sit heavy in your digestive system. For older adults whose bodies naturally process fats and proteins less efficiently, this added stress can compound over time. Inflammation isn't just a buzzword. It's increasingly recognized as a key driver of dementia, memory loss, and age-related cognitive decline. Something as routine as reheating yesterday's eggs may play a quiet but real role in that process. So what can you do instead? If you enjoy eggs and want to prep ahead, consider eating them cold, adding them to salads or grain bowls straight from the fridge. If you must warm them, do it gently, preferably on the stovetop with low heat, never in the microwave. And if the eggs have been sitting for more than a couple of days, it's better to start fresh. These choices may seem small, but over time, they help reduce the invisible strain your body faces. When it comes to protecting your heart, your brain, and your vitality as you age, even little adjustments, like how you handle eggs, can make a lasting difference. Remember, it's not about fear, it's about protecting what matters most. With knowledge, care, and a few smarter habits. Number 4, reheating chicken can trigger hidden inflammation. Chicken is one of those foods we often think of as safe. It's lean, full of protein, and endlessly versatile. You roast a batch on Sunday, stash the extras in the fridge, and heat them up throughout the week. Simple, right? But here's what most people don't realize: reheating chicken, especially in the microwave or at high heat, can quietly work against your body in ways you don't immediately see or feel. When freshly cooked, chicken's protein structure changes in a way that supports digestion. But when that already altered structure is exposed to heat a second time, especially unevenly, it denatures even further. The result: proteins become tougher, more rigid, and significantly harder for your aging digestive system to break down. This is why many older adults feel unexpectedly sluggish or bloated after reheating leftovers, even if they're eating healthy food. But digestion is just one part of the story. The more serious issue is inflammation. According to emerging research, certain compounds released during the reheating of animal proteins can stimulate low-grade, chronic inflammation. And inflammation, as science increasingly confirms, is the silent driver behind many conditions we associate with aging. Heart disease, joint pain, diabetes, memory loss, and even dementia. Picture this. You microwave a leftover chicken breast from Monday's dinner. It looks fine, smells okay, maybe a little rubbery. You eat it without a second thought. But beneath the surface, the reheated meat has undergone microscopic changes. Alterations in amino acids and fats that now require more effort from your immune system and digestive tract. For seniors whose bodies are already navigating slower metabolism, less stomach acid, and reduced enzyme production, these extra burdens matter. The result might not be dramatic right away, but over time, repeated stress at the cellular level can lead to noticeable dips in energy, focus, and overall resilience. What makes this more dangerous is how easy it is to overlook. Chicken doesn't come with a warning label. It doesn't scream, "I'm inflamed," when you reheat it, but your body might. That's why prevention matters more than ever. So what's the solution? First, opt for fresh cooked chicken whenever possible. If you must reheat it, use the stovetop at low to medium heat instead of the microwave, which can heat unevenly and amplify protein distortion. Avoid reheating more than once and always store leftovers properly. In sealed containers in the fridge, not open on a plate or wrapped in foil. And most importantly, listen to your body. If you notice that leftover meals make you feel heavier, gassier, or foggier than usual, don't brush it off. That may be your body telling you it's time to change how you handle your food. As we get older, our bodies ask us to be a little more gentle, a little more thoughtful. And the good news? You don't have to give up chicken, you just have to treat it with more care. These small, practical shifts, like choosing not to microwave your protein, can ease the silent inflammation that wears on your body over the years. It's about honoring the vessel that carries you through life. Your health deserves nothing less. Number 5. Mushrooms lose their balance when reheated. Mushrooms are more than just a tasty side dish. They're earthy, full of umami flavor, and loaded with antioxidants, fiber, and immune-supporting nutrients. From stews and stir-fries to breakfast omelets, mushrooms are a staple in many homes, especially for those aiming to eat healthy. But here's something most people don't know. Mushrooms are one of the most delicate foods you can cook, and reheating them can quietly turn a healthy meal into a hidden health risk. Unlike many vegetables, mushrooms are composed of intricate proteins and enzymes that begin to break down as soon as they're cooked. While freshly prepared mushrooms are generally safe and beneficial, the moment you store and reheat them, especially in the microwave, you trigger a chain reaction that degrades both their structure and their health benefits. Reheating causes these complex proteins to unravel even further, making them harder to digest. This can lead to bloating, gas, and a sense of heaviness in the body. And for older adults, whose digestive systems may already be slower and more sensitive, the effect is even more pronounced. But it's not just about digestion. The bigger concern is oxidative stress. When mushrooms are stored improperly or reheated unevenly, the fats and amino acids inside them can oxidize. This means they react with oxygen to create unstable molecules known as free radicals, compounds that damage your cells over time. Oxidative stress is a slow, quiet force behind many age-related health issues. Fatigue, joint pain, memory lapses, and even cognitive decline. And all of this could begin with something as seemingly harmless as reheated mushrooms. Take this scenario. You make a savory mushroom soup on Sunday night and save some for Monday's lunch. When you microwave the leftovers, you notice a strange rubbery texture or a slightly off smell. That odd change isn't just flavor loss. It's chemical alteration. What was once a nutritious, healing food has transformed into something your body has to work harder to break down and eliminate. And over time, that work adds up. Many seniors who deal with recurring digestive discomfort don't realize how much their food handling habits contribute to the problem. A small shift, like how you store and reheat a dish, could relieve symptoms you've accepted as normal aging. So what can you do? First, only cook as much as you'll eat in one meal when it comes to mushrooms. If you need to store them, use a sealed glass container in the fridge and reheat them slowly on the stovetop. Never the microwave. Better yet, enjoy them cold. A chilled mushroom salad with olive oil, lemon, and herbs can be just as flavorful and far gentler on your gut. And here's the deeper truth. When you respect the nature of your food, your body rewards you with more clarity, less discomfort, and longer-lasting energy. Reheating mushrooms might seem like a small mistake, but if repeated, it can slowly chip away at your well-being. For those in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, every small choice adds up. And this one is easy to fix. It's not about fear, it's about care. You've come this far in life. You deserve meals that support you, not burden you. And that starts with awareness, one bite at a time. As we come to the end of this video, I invite you to pause and reflect on the 5 everyday foods we've just explored. Which one surprised you most? Was there something you've been reheating without thinking twice? Perhaps not realizing how it might be quietly affecting your health. More importantly, how might this awareness shape the way you handle leftovers in the future? This video isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. It's about offering you simple, science-backed knowledge that can help you make choices aligned with how you want to feel. Clearer, stronger, and more in control of your well-being. Your body has shown up for you through decades of life's changes. Now it's time to show up for it, with care, with attention, and with respect. And as we've seen today, small habits, like reheating that egg or skipping the microwave for leftover mushrooms, can make a meaningful difference when practiced consistently. Thank you for spending time with us today. We'd love to hear from you. What's one insight that stood out to you, and what will you do differently this week? Your stories matter to us. Your comments not only motivate us, but also create a space for others to learn and grow together. If this video helped you, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might benefit. Your support allows us to keep making thoughtful, helpful content. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.